Hey, Alpha fam, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission. Today on Alpha Commission, of course, we're going to go over that pump on, of course, all of these altcoins over here in the last week. They are just uber up. And of course, if we do jump over to the Bitcoin chart, we are just continuing to pump here on the 2 week. Now, guys, in the last few episodes, I did say that we were operating off of the 2 week chart. And so those were the key levels that we were looking for. And if I just throw those back on, you can see that, of course, our hold momentum level was 48,315. We never violated that number. And so, of course, our expectation was to the upside. And had we dropped below 48,300, we might have been looking for a juicy pullback to retest just the bull zone here, where we might have, slipped and lost it and maybe retested the neutral point. But in fact, this macro just continues to be bullish. We are on some of these origin line channels that essentially would have us going a bit parabolic. So this is not an easy area to play. We did get roughly a 20% or so pullback just before this pump, and looks like that's the best that you are going to get. This thing just wanted to keep ripping, and you do see us reclaiming these candles over here. Now, the alpha fam has been in this chart since essentially the breakout down here at this macro falling wedge. This would be 2021, and then down here is 2023. And you guys know that I love a falling wedge. I love a mean reversion play, and this was just a classic falling wedge mean reversion, and essentially that had a measured move to that 50K area. We did get that, where we did end up getting that pullback. Now, that could have been a much dicier pullback because the measured move was over. However, of course, with the ETFs and everything else going on in the world, BTC was just desired just a bit more, and so they did send this thing flying, and it does look like we are getting this type of an impulse, right, that we really haven't seen since back here. And so this is quite exciting for a lot of people, where previously we had a bear market rally that just utterly collapsed into COVID, and we really didn't get the same type of rally. We might have expected it to come a little bit higher and then do a deeper pullback, but yeah, we didn't get that. And so this is what's different between this old chart and the new chart, this new cycle, just a little bit steadier and a little bit more bullish, to be honest, guys. We also had quite a dramatic pullback. So, this is kind of the counter reaction to this impulse to the downside here. If I do throw on some new 2 week key levels, you can see that our volatility pivot is going to be somewhere around 54,335. As long as we're above 54,335 on the 2 week, which closes in 8 days, guys. So this is what you're going to be looking for next weekend, right? You're going to be looking to see, are we above 54,335? If we are, that's a pretty good sign that we may just have continued macro to the upside. Now, where could this thing start breaking down? In fact, we entered the extreme bull zone, the critical bull zone above 51,711. And if we go to the last 2 week key levels, you can see that we weren't even in that territory. And so we really did just skyrocket this last session. Guys, again, just jumping to the new key levels, we do lose that extreme bull market territory below 51,711, where we could again, that there's that potential to retest that bull zone and perhaps have a greater pullback. This would make this some type of, perhaps deviation. Maybe we get a shoulder over here, and what would happen is that we would get this kind of bearish formation where we would have a shoulder, a head, and then maybe another shoulder. Some people call that some other type of pattern. I'm not going to mention it, but that would imply a greater breakdown to perhaps retest the strength of the move somewhere in this neighborhood. Now, right now, it does look like we are having parabolic action, so I really can't claim any type of pullbacks, guys. You just have to be aware of these key levels. Really, we don't lose the bull unless we're under 43,556 at this point, and that's quite a ways to drop. But we do have a week, so just keep your eyes open for those levels. If I throw on my EMAs, you should be able to see that this is roughly that territory where the 9 EMA and the 21 EMA are. So, if we did just pull back here, it's just going to be pretty healthy, and we could still just continue on our way. A little bit of a fake out down there just to scare people, just put the fear of God in you, and then maybe flip this volatility pivot, the top of my momentum pool, and just carry on, just chugging away. What could that look like if we do just continue to chug along? Well, you're in luck. I have you know, some kind of bullish wedge here that we've been following for the last couple episodes, and we can't see that on, at least on the daily basis, we are breaking above it. So yeah, I mean, this is what we were looking for. In the last episode, we were looking to see if we could just move from the bottom here where we had that inverted head and shoulders to the top. And then I said, at that point, you might either take your profit or this thing is going to flip it bullishly. It looks like it's flipping it bullishly. Where would that break down at? Somewhere around 57,500. So 57,500. Maybe you're going to come back and retest, maybe 52,000. But right now, it's just hanging on top of this really bullish structure here. Should we want to see a little bit more detail, then we can see this teal channel that I do have here. These are my origin channels, the alpha origin channels over here, and you can see that, yeah, this one has treated us pretty well, guys. I actually got kicked out of another group for presenting this information. Not really sure why. We've been following my origin channels for about 3 years, and they've treated us extremely well over here at Alpha Commission. So yeah, I mean, congrats to the Alpha fam who followed it, and sorry to the other guys who don't understand it, but yeah, it works, and it's been treating us extremely well. Bottom to the top, to the bottom, rejected, retested, rejected again, retested again, flipped it, and then of course we took this to the top of the range here. We did end up flipping that, got to make a new kind of a channel top here, established that with a double top, came back down, retested the bottom of that channel, just didn't really get accepted underneath it. Basically tried again, was accepted, came all the way back here, and then of course you can see by now, right, by now at the bottom of that wedge, you should have been able to see that we had very clear channels already established, right, before we even broke out from this falling wedge. And with an implied move up here, it did suggest that eventually we would be targeting perhaps at least this 50 to 80,000 dollar area, and that's just based upon the structure of this chart. So what did we do? Yeah, sure, we popped up here, got rejected, tried again, accepted, right? Tried up here. We were able to push through it on the first time. It was a bit of a grind, but we were able to. We flipped it, held it as support. There's that key level. And then, of course, we're just pushing through the middle of this chop. That does imply if we are able to flip in this area that we could potentially hit 80K, guys. So yeah, what are the key levels that we're looking at here? Well, right now, of course, we're pretty much there, somewhere around 63.5, then perhaps 70K, and then perhaps that 80K. And should we just push even higher, then maybe 90K. Where does this thing start falling down? Well, somewhere around that 58, let's say 500, and then perhaps 52,300. And then the bottom of this, if we just fall back down here, is going to be somewhere around 42, 43, depending how much time it takes, right? So that's what I'm looking at on this type of a macro perspective. I hope this helps you guys just envision what BTC might be doing. And it's pretty simple if you think about it in these terms, because we could just have a check back and then go, right? Something like this, right? Almost the exact analogy of that. Or we could break down, right? And then retest it bearishly and continue to break down, even breaking down under this one, or we could check back up. And these levels really do give you a clear picture of what's possible. So I do like them. I'm going to keep using them, even if I get banned in other groups because for some reason the quote unquote CEO, right, doesn't understand these things. Yeah, no, they work really well, and you can just see that beautiful market structure here. If you have the imagination and the intelligence to understand what's going on, you do see that this is the area that we're targeting, or we're going to lose it and come back down here, and it's super, super obvious, guys. Just zooming out a little bit. Look at this beautiful structure right here. Okay, we're just playing it to a T. I think I'm gonna wrap up there. Of course, I do have a little bit more of kind of like a hypothetical little channel going on here. And you can see that we broke out of that one and we butted our head right on the mid channel of the area above us. And that would also suggest, somewhere perhaps in the upper 70s to 80 should we flip that mid channel. And of course, it's also suggesting perhaps that mid 50s should we end up just having a little bit of a pullback. So guys, these are just multiple different ways of seeing the same exact thing. You have my key levels for the 2-week. The 2-week closes in 8 days. That's your alpha for the day. Stay safe and happy trading.